A story a day.
Jalas, a.k.a. What did we say? Kayamba.
No, this is not Kayamba.
It's Kayamba, Africa.
It's your Kayamba.
No, this is the group here.
Isati yangu unaiona tu Kayamba ukweli wewe.
In fact, Katiba Clyde, if you just hook us up with a song by Kayamba, you'll see Jalas on the floor. The shirt will take off on its own.
Isati, this is called Africa royalty. This is African royalty. King Mswati.
I know him. Met him. I met him.
Umesakutana na
Come on, the
Mswati?
young king.
Eh.
I met him when he was only like, I think 19 going on 20.
Is this the story a day?
Well, it could be, Jalas.
Talk to me. Finya pale uniambie.
Swaziland, twende Swaziland.
Twende huko.
Si ulikuwa ukiongea hapo Jalas.
Wacha twende Swaziland kidogo.
Twende Swaziland, eh?
Twende Swaziland unipatie hadithi. You know I said, before I die I must go for the reed dance.
Yes. It's highly recommended.
When it was?
The reed dance, it's every year.
Every year.
Every year, yeah. It's seasonal, you know, it has its season. Every year it happens. Yeah.
So which month particularly?
It's the spring. So, after their winter, Southern Hemisphere winter. So it's around August, September.
August, September.
Yeah.
The reed dance.
The reed dance.
Okay.
Shall we go there?
Swaziland.
Wow, you caught me a little off guard here, but all right.
Why not?
Before this young king was born, his father, King Sobuzwa, is it so? I have to look that. King Sobuzwa, had about 100 wives. The king of Swaziland had about 100 wives, and in order to pick the next king, because if you have 100 wives, you have a lot of kids, right? In order to...
This is if you've been servicing them well.
All 100.
All 100
right.
of them.
So they had to pick the wife who had only one child, and it was a boy.
One child.
And a boy. That's how the king picked his successor. That's how they do that in Swaziland. So, of course, the court folks, the king's court, they went looking, and finally.
So 100 women were brought.
Well, they went to their homesteads. And they identified the wife who was going to be the new matriarch, they call them the queen elephant. The queen elephant. So, one day, King Sobuzwa dies. And he's laid in state, sitting down just like you are in a glass box. In a glass box, in his complete king regalia, he's put in a glass box and he's laid in state for weeks. Finally, he is buried in the glass box. Seated like you are, as a king. Just so that in the afterlife, he doesn't have to be tired. He's sitting in the afterlife. And they picked this young boy who had, by the way, been educated in the UK, yeah? He went to Eton with the likes of Prince Charles, the same school that the likes of Prince Charles went to, or Jomo, or, those kinds of people. So he comes back home as the young king. He's barely in his 20s. They call him King Mswati the Third. So we were in Swaziland one day, drove in from Johannesburg, 3.5 hours. It's very close. 3.5 hours, you cross the border, you're into Swaziland. Mbabane, beautiful rolling hills. It's like Ngong. It's like you're driving up to Olepolos and stuff, but not as hot. Beautiful rolling hills, green as ever. And we're in Mbabane. And we get to the hotel and we're doing stories, features. and we ask around because everyone there, every other person's name is Dlamini over there.
Dlamini?
Yeah. Dlamini, that's the royal line, huh? Dlamini. So you meet a Dlamini, he's related to the king somehow. And we got word that we were in town and we wanted to interview the king. We thought it was a long shot. It's not going to happen. There's no way. Before you know it, the king's people have arrived and they want to know who we are, what we want, how long
are we around?
How long will the interview be? And we said, look, it's up to you guys. We just want to meet the king. And then they said, okay, by the way, this is the protocol. You go in, you don't reach out your hand until he reaches his out. You take off your shoes in the presence of the king. You know, these kinds of things, right? But we said, do we bend down? Do we kneel? He said, no, you don't kneel because you're not Swazi. If you were Swazi, you'd prostrate yourself.
You prostrate?
Kabisa.
Prostrate, yeah, meaning?
Meaning that you are, completely on the ground, stretched.
Or you lie down?
Not lie, you just stretched in front of him. Like, that's all humility. I'm serious.
Okay.
If you're Swazi. But if you're foreign, you just bow your head, just respect. So we enter, finally, we enter the room. The king is about to come in. They call them their criers, the village criers. They're the ones who announce the king's presence. There's a guy whose role is to announce the king's presence. So he goes around in the language, really praising the king to no end, praising and jumping up and down, praising the king. The king arrives. Every Swazi in the room, boom, on the floor, stretched out, prostrated, stretched out. Nobody's saying a thing, and he's walking amongst them. He's walking, and there he's coming towards us. And he's my age then. I mean, 20 years. He was my age. I'm looking at this kid, and I'm saying, this is the king? This is the king? And he comes, he's so polite, oh, how you doing? And he stretches out. So if he stretches his hand out, then you shake his hand. Hey, how you doing? All right, how are you, sir, king, your majesty? You don't know what to call him. You call him all these things. And he says, come. And he puts his hand behind and we walk. And he's dressed in traditional, huh? Mashuka, nini, all that stuff, looking really cool, sandals. This is a guy who's educated, UK, everything, man. So we walk around the compound and then he takes me to his gazebo. He has a gazebo just for the king. We set up our cameras and we start talking. And I say, you command this kingdom. Do you know what you're doing? I mean, do you know what's the role of a king? This is the kingdom, the last monarch in Africa. Monarchy. Man, but he was cool. He was very cool. And I said, look, every year, is it necessary for you to choose a wife every year? Because every reed dance is for the king to pick a new wife. And at that time he had, I think, 6 or 7. Now it's double that, or I don't know how many years now. But it's a tradition every year in the reed dance, the king must pick a new wife. Can you imagine? But Swaziland, tiny little mountain kingdom. Beautiful place, lovely place. But, they're steeped in tradition. Sometimes you think you've gone back 300 years because of the kingdom, and the lifestyle. And combined with that, it's modern technology. All in one tiny little country of about 1 million and change people. That is a story a day.
Hot breakfast with Jeff and Jelano.